Welcome to this Markets.com company profile of the Ford Motor Company. I am your host, Luisana Swegard. I'm glad you could join us. Let's begin by going over some background information. Founded by Henry Ford in 1903, the company's headquarters are located in Dearborn, Michigan. Ford employs approximately 295,000 people worldwide and has a market cap of $11 billion. Ford has worldwide operations selling and producing vehicles in all 6 continents, and the company is organized into 2 segments, automotive and financial services. The people running this company are CEO Alan Mulally and CFO Donnet LeClaire Jr. Moving on now to discuss the place in the market. Ford stock is traded on 11 different national stock exchanges throughout the world, with its main listing on the New York Stock Exchange. The main index it is traded on is the S&P 500. Let's go ahead and take a look at the company's reported financials for 2007. Reported revenues for Ford came in at more than $172 billion, with net earnings reported at a total of $2.7 billion. Now, taking a look at the balance sheet, Ford's total assets fell just short of $280 billion, while liabilities were a little over $270 billion. Equities made up the difference at $5.5 billion. Taking a look at more numbers, the debt-to-equity ratio of the firm was sitting at 23.79. Additionally, the company had 2.2 billion shares outstanding at the end of 2007. On December 31st of that year, the stock closed at $6.73. On August 13th, 2008, the stock closed at $4.95. The company has no dividends at this time. Let's take a closer look at operations, where there happens to be a difference between those that take place in North America and worldwide. Overall, the company has been losing money for a few years now, but that fact stands true mostly for operations in the U.S. Sales in Europe and Asia have grown nicely as the company has been coming up with innovative designs and tailoring to the vehicles to the customer's needs. In America, however, the company held on to big trucks and SUVs for much longer, and while they were large margin products in the 90s, today they sit on lots where they can only be sold with huge incentive packages. Inevitably, Americans are now clamoring for cars with better fuel economies because of the climbing oil prices, so the company is trying its best to get smaller vehicles into their sales rooms. Unfortunately, that will probably take a couple of years. Meanwhile, Ford owns other brands including Lincoln, Mercury, and Volvo. They also own 34% of Mazda. As far as Ford Credit is concerned, that segment of the company has suffered because of the fact that its parent company's credit rating is doing badly. Of course, this has made it harder for Ford's lending arm to get money to finance both buyers and dealers, putting even more of a strain on Ford. Competing against Ford are General Motors, Toyota, Honda, and Volkswagen. Let's speak into Ford's vision for growth, which has changed quite often over the last decade. There seems to be one plan since Alan Mulally stepped into the CEO position. That plan calls on Ford to restructure to bring down costs and align the amount they supply with the demand that customers have. All of this is an effort to cut down on the excessive inventory they have suffered from in the last few years. Meanwhile, it is also meant to get their product mix where customers want it. Again, that being more fuel-efficient vehicles and less huge gas guzzlers. In addition, part of the company's strategy is to completely integrate worldwide operations so that a vehicle sold in Asia is the same as a vehicle sold in the US. That would mean lower production costs and development costs. And at last, they are looking to fix up the balance sheet in order to bring the company to a place where it can better support operations. Let's go on to explore some of the new initiatives brought on by the company. One of those involves its announcement rollout of the EcoBoost engine family, which is set to increase fuel efficiency by 20% and carbon dioxide emissions by 15%. Along with this, it has what is probably going to be the most important rollout of vehicles in its history over the next couple of years. Ford also continues to produce even more hybrid cars. So where does Ford stand now? Well, for a decade, they have been on a downward slope, at least in terms of profitability. These problems, however, started way before that. Ford had an addiction to SUVs and trucks for a long time. In the 90s, the company was able to make easy money due to the low oil environment from higher margin vehicles. The problem today is the company is feeling the pain for short-sightedness. Ford has now been involved in some style of turnaround for a decade. Now it seems to finally understand that small car demand is here to stay. In the next 2 years, they will be introducing smaller vehicle cars worldwide. In America, the company has cut a lot of costs, and in the rest of the world, it is now making money. The question for a long time now was when Ford would turn it around. The urgency of the situation today leads us to ask, can they start making a profit again before they run out of money? Time will tell. That concludes our Markets.com company profile of the Ford Motor Company. Again, we're glad you could join us. I'm your host, Luisana Swigart. See you soon.